Hey guys, I got a new video for Exile 3.22. Today we're going to be crafting a new helmet. So I did record this separately, and I didn't really record the fracturing part, but anyway, so we'll go over how I ended up crafting my new helmet and the different crafting steps, and how you can kind of cut some of the costs down, I guess. But let's jump into the video. So first, obviously, you do need to get a fracture on the 10% of physical damage taken from hits as some kind of element or chaos. So ideally, you do want to have this chaos one, but there just hasn't been any on the market. You know, I haven't seen one pop up the whole league, and that's because it's pretty rare. I think this mod it's from Betrayal, and it's a drop only. I think when you kill Katarina, or I'm not really sure, but you can't like Veiled Chaos this on, or there is like a Delve mod that is a suffix, so you could maybe get this as a suffix, but you know, if you get it as a suffix, then it's going to kind of change the craft and you won't be able to get the intelligence. So end of the day, I had a bunch of these bases left over from when I crafted my original helmet, so I decided to use some of these to try to make a better one. And there is kind of like, I guess, different stats you could go for on the helmet. You could go for like a plus gem level version if you wanted, with like the fossils, and get like, you know, plus strength or plus int and then plus 2 aura and all that kind of stuff. One mod you cannot get is the plus 2 AoE Unveil, because that's a Betrayal mod. You can't have 2 of those on the helmet. So it's kind of up to you what you want. I personally just wanted to have the intelligence cold res for getting a lot of energy shield, and then on the prefixes I just wanted to get some nice big thick ES, right? So that's kind of what I went with, and it's kind of a simple helmet, you know. Not really nothing real fancy going on with like tons of aura levels and all that kind of stuff, but end of the day, it's going to have a lot of energy shield, and getting energy shield on aura stackers is can tend to be a little bit hard, mainly because you don't really have a lot of points to spend on the passive tree for, you know, increased energy shield and all that kind of stuff. So end of the day, this is kind of the helmet I wanted to have to get me some nice energy shield. Alright, so after we fractured the Taken As mod, this took me about 6 times. This try, I think on my first original helmet it took me about 7 or 8. So very unlucky on the fractures, but we did get it. And now what we're doing is we're just going to be doing the Deafening Essence of Loathing until we get the suffix perfect. So when I was crafting this, I got like T1 flat and increased energy shield so many times, but kind of have to ignore it and finish off the suffixes first. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to use the Deafening Essence of Loathing until we hit either a tier 1 intelligence or a tier 1 resistance. Any resistance is fine because we can use Harvest to switch them around. And then after that, what we're going to do is we're going to use the Eldritch Currency, right? So we'll make it so we can work on the suffixes. And then we're going to either, if there's 3 suffixes, let's say we get a T1 int, and then we have the essence mod, and then we have one other random suffix, we'll try to annul it. And if we do annul it, then we'll just block all the prefixes, and then exalt. So you can use the normal exalt if your prefixes are full, or if they're not full, then you can either try to block and then use normal exalt, or just use the Eldritch exalt, whichever one. I think they're both about the same price. Okay, so we're just going to keep doing this, and then until we hit all 3 tier 1 intelligence and then tier 1 res. Now you don't really actually need to be getting tier 1, you know, in tier 1 resistance. You can, you know, cut down the cost and kind of settle on a lower tier of any one of these if you're on a budget. So anyway, so let's just kind of let this play while we you know, use up all of the Deafening Essences to get the suffixes done. Alright, so now we have the suffixes done. So what we're going to do now is we're going to switch the influence so we can work on the prefixes. And then I like to use the Eldritch Chaos mainly for crafting these. And I did decide to maybe just try and do a few Reforged defenses, you know, lock suffixes, and then do Reforged defense with Harvest. But it didn't, you know, didn't really work out on the first couple of tries, and I think probably doing it with these Eldritch Chaos is going to be cheaper in the end, so I decided to go with just the Eldritch currency. So the way I like to do these is I'm not going to be using the annuls mainly, so what I do is we're going to use the Eldritch Chaos, and a lot of times what happens is you end up with an item with 2 open prefixes, so it actually acts like an annul in a lot of cases, right? So because we already have 3 prefixes and 1 fractured, no, I mean 3 suffixes and 1 fractured prefix, and a lot of times when you use the chaos, it's just gonna, you know, end up being a 4 mod item, so it acts like an annul, so you don't really need to, you know, exalt, annul. And the nice thing about the Chaos Orb is it acts like pseudo exalt in a way too, right? So because you can roll on a 5th prefix sometimes, right? So I think it's a lot easier and more convenient than doing like exalt, annul. And it probably is a little bit cheaper too, because then you don't have to spend 2 types of currency, right? So basically what we do is we Eldritch Chaos until we get a tier 1 flat or increased energy shield, and then we are going to exalt on the last one. So yeah, basically we just keep doing this over and over and over again until we actually get a tier 1 roll, and this is probably where it's going to end up costing the most amount of money for this craft besides the fracture, mainly because it's 1 divine for 4 of these Eldritch Chaos, and it's quite expensive. So, if you're on a budget though, you know, T2 is enough to get you over 300 ES, and then just craft on the last energy shield. You know, you don't really need to go for what I'm doing in this video, but I already had one that was, you know, decent with the crafted mod, so I wanted to get one that was better with full T1. So, this is what we're doing. We're just going to keep doing this until we end up hitting, yeah, the T1s. Alright, so got very lucky with that exalt, and I was pretty happy with that because I'm gonna have to spend a lot of money to get it back otherwise, but we did get it. So what we're gonna do now is the Implicits, and what we're gonna try to do is, and I don't recommend you do this either, is I'm gonna try to go for a double exquisite on this helmet, and the way you do this is, first of all, you have to get one of them to perfect, and then you have to use the exceptional Icarus for the other side, and then downgrade the perfect to exceptional, and then you'll end up with a double exceptional. So we're doing first, I'm using the blue Grand Icarus to get the physical damage taken as chaos. I think it's cheaper to just use the Grands and then elevate it rather than just using the exceptionals straight off the bat. So we're just going to be doing that until we get the physical damage taken as chaos, and then we'll apply a exceptional red ember, and then we'll use the what do you call it, Orb of Dominance, I think it is, or Conflict, and then we'll just elevate it until we get the chaos physical damage taken as chaos to perfect. Now if you're actually crafting this helmet, you don't really need to get a double exquisite, and why is that is, well, the second implicit we're going for is the reduced mana cost of attacks, and you only really need 20%, or you know, the lowest tier of the red embers is going to be totally fine. Anything more than that is just kind of overkill, and you're going to be, yeah, you don't really even need it to get your lightning strike or smite down to 0 mana cost. So I don't know, I just wanted to do it for some reason. So you don't really need to do the full steps in this. If you are just going to be crafting it for, you know, on a budget or for use, then what you do is you just elevate the physical taken as chaos to an exquisite, and that's going to turn it to an 8%. There's no difference between the exquisite and perfect on that mod. They're both 8%. So just go to exquisite and then just use the lowest tier red ember to get the mana cost of attacks, and then you're done. Right, so basically what we're going to be doing now is we're just going to be getting the white sockets. Not really something you need to do, but let's use the Omen of Blanching till we get 3. And then after that, we'll just use Harvest to get the last one. It took about 5 or 6, I think 5, maybe 5 or so attempts to get it, so not that bad. But anyways, yeah, this is the helmet, and then all we have to do now is get it enchanted for lab, and then divine it a bit. I did try to divine it a few times, but didn't really end up hitting what I want, so we'll have to do that again in the future. But anyways, that's going to be it for this video. Some crafting adventures. And yeah, anyways, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.